course.
There's one thing I want to point out is that right now the Missouri tax incentives for films aren't where they should be. And tomorrow in Jefferson City, the Missouri Film Alliance of Springfield and a lot of filmmakers are going to be going there to try to get the tax incentives so that more films will come in, employ local actors, employ local crew, and it is something that call your state representative and say, we need this here. It helps our business. We're a local business, so it helps us. So it's something that's very, very important.
Are you going?
Unfortunately, we teach class.
We have classes, yeah. But we started the Missouri Film Alliance here, and that's part of it. But it is important because for the state, just for the economy of the state, 1 year, film brought in something like $375 million into the state of Louisiana.
Because of their taxes.
And that year, only $8 million came into the state of Missouri.
I'm sure you're going to let them know about Winter's Bone. And
oh, they know already.
They know.
They know
This is
already.
going to help kind of, you know, let them know that this is a good thing, that this is something that will help and bring in jobs to the state of Missouri.
After the film comes out, I think people are going to realize, you know, there's talent in this area, not just acting. There's
crew,
you know, crew,
filmmakers. Yes.
Extremely talented.
And there's great views. Like the cinematography in Winter's Bone was just impeccable because the scenery is just so raw and beautiful here. And we're hoping that people see the film and they see the landscapes and they want to come here to get that background.
To the Ozarks.
Yeah, to the Ozarks.
Now, if I remember right, it's Roadside Attractions.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with that name. Is this a big enough name in the business to make sure it gets national and worldwide distribution?
Well, they only bought the North American distribution rights, so the worldwide is still out there. Just by winning grand jury prize, it'll get released nationwide.
And when do you think we'll be able to see it? Obviously, we've been hearing about it, and you guys have seen it, but a lot of us haven't. We just see the clips.
I think the Variety or the LA Times said they were shooting for a summer release. So
but that was before it won the grand jury
prize.
Right, so you don't know. They might want to position it for awards for next year, for Golden Globes, for Academy Awards, so you don't know what.
There's some performances in there that are qualified for that.
Yes.
John
for the Academy Awards.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence and John Hawkes and Dale Dickey. All the actors are excellent, but they're phenomenal.
Yes.
And you mentioned Berlin. That's the next stop for the film.
February.
Why is Berlin important? You hinted at it earlier.
International
distribution of the film.
Exactly.
And anybody here heading to Berlin?
No. The Berlin Film Festival is more for industry people. It's a lot about buying and selling of films, and you know, unless you're Kate Blanchett or Natalie Portman, you don't really go and do the red carpet and all that. So I think we're all going to stay here and just hope that it does well and kind of. Deborah's going at the request of the festival, so she'll be there to represent us.
Well, that's wonderful, and we're hoping the premiere can be here in the Ozarks. What are you hearing about that?
Well, they've talked about that since the beginning, and Deborah Granite is probably one of the most down-to-earth, genuine human beings you'll ever meet, the director, and Ann Rossellini, the producer, and they really want to come down here. She talked about on her acceptance speech about Missouri and about this area and about the actors from this area. You very rarely see a director doing that on an acceptance speech.
Yes.
Well, we're hopeful that it will premiere here and hopefully sometime in 2010. Yeah.
We have people all the time that are like, oh, when are we going to get to see it? You have a copy of the film, right? No, we don't. We're not keeping it away from anybody, because if we did, we'd have own private screenings in our living rooms, but we don't have copies of it. So,
and that was one thing about Deborah that was so great. And she you know, Sundance is huge, but it was the least on her list. She wants Missouri to accept this film, and that's the number one thing on her list, is presenting it to Missouri and having it do well here. And I spoke with her, I had a lengthy conversation with her about it, and she's very, you know, she's nervous because she wants everyone to accept it, and so that's number one on her list. She's brilliant.
She captures the reality, and from a filmmaker's point of view, that's so important, and that's why it's important for her to be accepted here. You know,
thank you all for coming in and staying with us to have this extended chat, and some of this should show up in our evening newscast tonight.
We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Good luck. Go Winter's Bone.
Thank you, sir.